Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Thanks for joining me today. When you hear the phrase, you don't know what you don't know, well, that's where I think most RV dreamers live. And I get it, I do. I think most RV dreamers are picturing adventure and freedom and endless beautiful sunsets. But somewhere between the brochure or the sales video and the back lot, things can go sideways. Yes, they can. Today's interview is not about fear. It is about clarity. I sat down with RV lemon law attorney Beth Wells recently, and we talked big picture. Who's really responsible when things go wrong? Is it the dealer? Is it the manufacturer? Or is the buyer just left holding the bag? If you're dreaming about RV life, I want you to have all the facts before you sign anything, because it's what you don't know that can cost you. Leave me a comment if something here resonates or if you've been down this road yourself. And hey, if you find value in these videos, please like today's episode, hit the subscribe button, and ring that bell so you don't miss the next one. You can also scan the QR code you see on the screen or click the link in the description down below to get access to my free RV buyer resource page. It is packed with tools to help you make smarter, safer choices. Y'all stick around. I think you're going to learn a lot. I thought today what I want to talk about is kind of big picture stuff. When somebody buys an RV or it's still under warranty and things start going wrong, there's all the laundry list of things that can go wrong. Who's at fault? Who's to blame? What does this stuff start at the manufacturer? Does it start at the dealer? Because it ends up with me, the buyer.
Right.
And then it's the finger pointing. And I'd like your high level from 20 plus years experience in this industry to kind of lay it out clearly for us to understand if that's possible.
Well, I don't think it's probably a clear answer. I would say it just depends on a particular situation. I know sometimes dealers are working hard for the customer and they're getting pushback from the manufacturer. Other times you might have an issue where things fell through the cracks at the dealership and the manufacturer might not even know about the issues. They may not have submitted for warranty approval. You might have an issue where an RV sat on the lot for just way too long before it was sold and the PDI work that should have been done wasn't done. Maybe parts from that RV were taken for other RVs, so many different things can happen. So many variables, I would say.
Yeah, I was going to ask, what is it? Is it the parts? Is it the sloppy construction? Is it the dealer doesn't do the right, like you mentioned, the PDI before me, the buyer goes and gets it.
Right.
And it's, I guess it's this blob of just opportunities for things to go wrong. And that's why there's so many people that are disillusioned with their RV experience. How do you, as a lemon lawyer, unwrap that, peel that onion to find out which one it is? Is it bad parts? Is it bad, the sloppy manufacturing, assembly?
Yeah, I mean, kind of digging into things. A lot of times you don't figure some of that out until you do depositions and you get a chance to talk to the dealership. That's why we like to depose any dealer that's touched it or sold it or, done anything with it. We like to take a deposition of each of them. Also, you can kind of typically assume, but you can do a little bit more digging. If you can see, when we get our typical discovery, we'll see when the RV was delivered to the selling dealer. So if there was a good bit of time, even maybe more than a year between when it was first delivered to the selling dealer and when it was actually sold, you're likely to have issues that weren't like PDI that should have been. Maybe a PDI was done when it first came in, but
I've heard a lot of people, Beth, say that they found the RV they wanted to buy, and that they're getting a deal, but it's a year old or maybe even 2 years old, some of them. And so, the term a lot of people use is lot rot. And those the dealers that they will turn it back on me, the consumer, and say, hey, you were supposed to get up there and check the seals and do all these different things, whether you use the RV or not. But I wonder how many of the dealers are really doing that until a
Right.
buyer, okay, we got it sold, or squirt that, sealant around everywhere and out the door it goes. So
they can't fail to maintain like in one day.
yeah. But they seem to try to rush people, not every dealer, but they're trying to rush people out the door with a camper that's not 100% campground ready.
Right.
And they expect,
go ahead.
Well, yeah, I just think that they expect the customer to, well, that's just the way RVs are. I only spent 60 grand or 160 or whatever on a motorhome, a lot of money. And that's the way it's supposed to be. That just doesn't sound right to me.
Well, see, I was kind of wondering that. I deposed a Newmar representative yesterday, and I know for Newmar, if you're a dealer and you want to do like a second PDI, if it's been sitting there for a long time, he said that they'll routinely approve it, but it does, like, you have to request if you want to do a second one as opposed to just one. So I don't know if all manufacturers are like that, but if they are, then that may be a reason that slows down the interest in a dealership wanting to do another PDI if they want to get paid for it. Because they're trying to get it out real quick. They don't want to have to wait to hear back from the manufacturer that they're going to get paid, I would think. It
appears, from my standpoint, that both manufacturers and dealers, they care more about, and this is a broad brush statement, they care more about speed than quality.
Right.
They want to build these RVs as quickly as they possibly can, get them out the door, which means sometimes unskilled labor. People are just, the electrical problems, plumbing issues, the sealant. There's so many different things when they rush through that process. No, there's no water testing, if you will, to see if the thing's leaking. What do manufacturers need to do, in your opinion, to minimize the crap that me, the consumer, has to deal with on my end when I buy one of these things? Slow down?
I don't know, like slow down, but like that's not going to happen. So, there's so many times when I'll look through like build records and you'll see like these shortage lists where it'll list like all the things that a shortage is, either like something that's broken and needs to be fixed at a later time, or maybe something that is missing and they don't want to stop building the RV, but they want to remind themselves, hey, we got to go back before we finish the RV and we have to do this. So they'll put all that on a shortage list. And just like anything else, they're supposed to initial each thing that they do, but I don't think I've ever seen a build record produced in Discovery where every single item was initialed. And that's, I guess, somewhat because they're not required to do it, but they're expected to do it. So I don't know. Going through the process a little different.
I get a lot of emails from people that are impossibly frustrated. That they get something new, and then it's a Dometic fridge or a Lippert part or something, and then the manufacturer says, well, it's not us. And then Lippert's like, well, we're working on it. Everybody's working on it, but my RV that I'm making payments on can't be used, or it's being used, but not for the full purpose that they promised that I assumed I was going to be able to use it for. Let me just ask you this, because it seems like a possible strategy for me if I'm an owner that's got this list of problems that the RV has to continually go back to the dealer.
Right.
Are those, each time I go back to the dealer, does that add up to so many days when that RV becomes quote unquote a lemon for repair opportunities?
Yes. So it's either number of repair attempts, which that the timing doesn't matter, or the total amount of time collectively.
The repair attempts for that one repair. It's
correct.
But collectively, it could be a week for this, 2 months for that, 10 days for that issue in the warranty period. So it would seem to me that if I were an owner, and I think that this could be abused too by consumers, But if there's really things wrong with the RV, that they just keep taking it back to the dealer because I ain't taking it. And once it sits on the lot for how long? 150 days or something?
153.
153 days collectively in that time period. Hey, now I get myself a lemon lawyer. But I don't know if it's that simple.
It isn't, because there's a lot of language now in even some of the warranties or the repair orders that says, like, I can't remember which dealer it is, but they have language in their repair orders that say, if it's sitting here during repairs and we're not actively working on it, like we're waiting for parts, then we agree to store it for you, and it's considered, storage time.
Yeah.
So even if like it's a defect that keeps you from even being able to use the RV. So
that's their way to get out of it. They say, look, it was only 8 hours to fix it, but it took 3 weeks to get the part in, and we started it, but now we can't. That whole 3-week period is not something that I can count as loss of use.
Well, they'll argue that, and they've got, at least SOAR has that in their newest warranty, but it hasn't been tested, at least by us yet. So we'll see.
What can someone do? And I'm sure there are some manufacturers that are worse than others. Yes. I mean, the cheaper stuff you got to see more problems. You may not be able to help them because that's not a big enough case. Mm-hmm. But don't you see that the less money you spend, the bigger the issues are in general?
I would say, like, the less money you spend, the less quality. But also at the same time, I would say some of those manufacturers that sell those, at least in my opinion, are manufacturers that tend to stand behind the RVs more than maybe a bigger manufacturer or a manufacturer that sells higher dollar ones. But it just depends on the manufacturer.
What are you seeing now from your perspective in terms of the changes within the manufacturers and how they're looking at their units? And what I'm getting at is, back during the pandemic, when they were making lots of money and just throwing stuff out there. It's the opposite now. I mean, they talk happy talk in the industry publications, but it ain't good. And the economy is, wobbly. And so are they doing a better job at quality control, getting the products out? Because they're not working near, a lot of these plants, I don't know if any of them are working a full shift like they were.
Right.
Are they really trying to improve quality, or are they bracing for this legal storm from, Beth Wells, that for selling these crappy products and the dealer's not doing the work to fix them?
I don't think we'll necessarily know for a little bit till we see, like, the change in case numbers. Right now, I know that the market's slow, but we're still consistently getting in new cases, so we're not seeing a slowdown. But I mean, who knows? We may see a slowdown in like 6 months or something like that.
And when you say you're getting this influx of cases, these are cases of people that their RV is still under warranty? Yes.
Yes. We're getting more structural type cases than we used to. At least I'm seeing that.
What do you mean? What kind of stuff? Broken frames?
Structural warranties, they're going to be like typically like 3 to 5 years. So we're in a situation where sometimes, like, we can help someone who maybe their time's run out for their limited warranty, but they actually have structural issues and they're in their structural warranty.
I'm looking at, I'm not going to name them, but a purchase agreement. Yeah. And on a brand new motorhome, in the fine print at the bottom of the agreement, it says that there is no warranty. I mean, not from the dealer. The dealer doesn't accept any responsibility at all. No, including any implied warranty or merchantability, blah, blah, blah. I mean, and so that to me sounds like a good way for the dealer to go, I don't know, and just get out of it. Is it that simple? For
the dealer, yes, they can disclaim their implied warranty, and And they do that for like your cars and trucks too. At least in Ohio, they can. Some other states, they may not be able to, but I know in Ohio they can.
But Beth, I'm not trying to be argumentative, and I'm not arguing with you. I'm just looking at the reality. Some of these dealers don't do crap when it comes to getting the RV really campground ready. I mean, people leave with stuff that hasn't been checked. Anybody that's worked for 6 months at a dealership, in any of those texts would go, we can't let this go, but they're letting this stuff get out there.
Yeah.
And when they do, and when I have the problem as the buyer and I come back, they go, well, that was the manufacturer. You signed the paper that released us. Mm-hmm. So what's the takeaway? Is the takeaway to get an inspection? Is it only to buy a quality RV? Is it to cross out this stuff on the purchase agreement that relieves them from any responsibility? What do I need to do to protect myself as a buyer from turning in, getting into a RV purgatory?
Right. So like if they make any statements to you, like if they say, oh, we did this extra PDI or we did that, anything that they represent to you, that is something that you could legally like deal with. And that's not going to be excluded by those disclaimers. As far as like how you can avoid it, I don't know, I would say probably doing one of those pre-sale inspections is a good idea. A lot of those people tend to be very detailed, so they're going to find things even that might not even be a huge deal to you. So you'll if you pay for one of those, I think you're likely to find any kind of major issue that you'd be concerned with.
So an independent third-party inspection. What about taking possession and signing of documents? I've talked to a lot of people who I'm a little bit fuzzy on some of the details, but essentially they found the RV, they're getting ready to buy it. They come back, go to the finance department, and they sign all this stuff. Mm-hmm. And then they'll go out and do the final walkthrough. And they're already, the noose is around their neck. I mean, they're not going to be able to get out of it. Is that bass backwards? Should we change it around and say, look, I'm not signing those loan papers until you walk me through and you show me the slide outs function properly without going clunk and one side going in faster than the other? Is that reasonable for me as a buyer to ask for that before I sign the loan papers? Or does it matter?
I think so. I wouldn't agree to purchase something that I hadn't inspected for sure.
What kinds of cases are you seeing more and more of? You said you're seeing some structural stuff in terms of the newer RVs. You're seeing same old stuff, slide out issues, and
same old stuff. The only difference I'm seeing is, like I said, a couple like more structural issues than I typically would see. But aside from that, the same typical stuff that we get.
All right. For the person who doesn't know about the lemon law, there's not a nationwide lemon law. What's the 60-second version of, why isn't there, and what rights do I have as a consumer? Because I know it, if you're in Connecticut or Colorado or whatever state you're in, it can be different. What do I need to know about the lemon law? Because a lot of people think they have a lemon, but that may not be the case.
Right. So for lemons, for the lemon law, it's just like with cars. Each state has their own lemon law. So each state's going to choose, what laws they apply, how their lemon law applies. Just depending on the state, your state may cover RVs for lemon laws, your state may not. That's just something that the country happens to deal with state by state. So the only real lemon law that you can have is the federal, I guess it's called the federal lemon laws by some people. It's the Magnuson-Moss Warranty Act. And that act just basically follows your state UCC law, which has to do with whether you gave them a reasonable opportunity to repair the defect or defects, and whether they failed to repair it within a reasonable number of attempts. So that's the number of attempts or amount of time issue that we talk about. The reason we talk about Indiana law so much is because most of the RVs, the warranty says Indiana law applies. So.
I spoke with a guy just the other day that bought a brand new destination trailer, multiple AC units, and they forgot at the manufacturing level to put seals around any of them. And so when it rained, it
Yeah.
poured. Then they contacted the dealer, and the dealer said, well, we'll send somebody out. Go ahead and clean the water up, and we'll send somebody out to fix it. But water damage doesn't go away. It doesn't happen over, instantly. But once that water comes in, that's like the worst thing one of the worst things that can happen. Was the dealer responsible for that? For go, wait a minute, we're not going to sell this because you guys didn't even seal the ACs. Or was the manufacturer responsible? Because at the end of the day, the couple that bought the destination trailer, they're the ones that are left holding the bag with this, they don't know, they got a child, mold issues in the future. What happens there? Because they're all point.
And it's hard to tell too, like, right? Like if the walls have mold or water damage in them.
But they're not going to have it right now. I mean, it takes a while, I mean, sometimes it depending on heat and humidity and blah, 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 blah. But just the whole experience, and the manufacturer screwed up, but the dealer didn't find it. Isn't the dealer responsible for some of that? I would think they are.
I mean, I'm not honestly sure what kind of inspection is done in relation to looking at those seals on the air conditioning. I'm going to assume that they're on the roof. Be tough to look at without getting on the roof. It would just
so the answer is the manufacturer. I mean,
right.
Whoever put them on, that's who's responsible. But what about the damage? I mean, the damage to personal effects, but to the actual RV itself. And then the dealer says, we can't get out there for a few weeks, and it continues to rain. Just get up there and put a tarp over it. I just spent $100,000 on this damn thing. Get out here and fix it. I hear these things all the time. What should somebody do when they're in that purgatory, that situation?
I mean, I personally see it as a manufacturing issue. Most of the time, I would say the dealer's probably doing their best to try to get things repaired, but it's specifically with water damage, I've seen just in my experience in my cases that it's really hard for dealers to get manufacturers to do anything other than like fix the issue that was causing it, not really dig in to see if there's water damage. It's settled now, but I had a case where there was a water leak kind of similar to what you said in the beginning. Mm-hmm. And they thought they had it fixed. And then it turns out like a year later, the walls were like filled with mold. And you wouldn't know that without like tearing the walls apart. But manufacturers don't seem to want to go through that and try to figure it out. These people got lucky because they had a local dealer who was willing to kind of dig a little deeper and try to figure things out without knowing whether they'd get paid for it. So they were having like mold. They were having like health issues, so they were concerned that maybe there was something in the walls, and there was.
Yeah, I don't have it with me right here, but I've got a moisture meter. It's like right. $35, $40 that you can buy at Amazon. And it is amazing. You walk around in an RV, it's amazing how much water there is. These things leak, not everywhere, not every RV, but in places that you would not even suspect. And you can see the level go up. It's like, holy crap. Right. That's a warning light. So the takeaway, as always, I think, and tell me if I'm missing something, is be careful of the dealer you purchase from. Don't accept delivery, final acceptance until you've been demonstrated that everything works properly.
Right.
Slow down and read your paperwork. And when in doubt, get an independent third-party inspector to get in there.
Yeah, and that paperwork where you're signing to say like, oh, this starts the warranty, read it and cross out things that you don't want. Now, I've been told by some manufacturers that they won't accept that. But no one's really given me like a solid 100% answer. So I wonder if you cross it out, it goes back to the manufacturer. Is the person like logging that warranty form? Are they really going to care? And I wonder if like that would even impact your warranty moving forward.
Did you tell me that one of the things that happens in some finance departments when people are doing the paperwork, sign right here, is an acceptance of the condition that the RV is in? Just here, go ahead and sign here. This will go ahead and start your warranty. And
Yes.
you haven't even really inspected it. You just, okay, start the warranty. That sounds good.
And it checks off all the items that you went through and approved. There's some of them now have a jury waiver. Says that you read the warranty and you understand. There's tons of stuff in those.
So
And most of the time, what you're saying you did not do.
Just sign right here. Just sign right here. And this will get your warranty started. and get us off the hook. God dang. You know, it's sad. I know people are going to watch this, and some people within the industry go, "Oh, I wish you wouldn't say that," but it's the truth, and people get burned all the time. I talk to people every week. I get multiple people that I'm trying to help. I'm not trying to be a lawyer, but I'm trying to help them. I say, "Well, have you read the warranty?" "No, but I've got it." It's like, you need to read it. Not trying to be ugly, but.
And to be fair, we do car work too. It's kind of like it's in the car industry too. They just get you to sign those documents to get you through, but it's typical like vehicle sales type things.
Yeah, but I think I've had a couple of issues with vehicles, but nothing like with RV.
No.
The RV industry, and so you don't see the industry really changing for the better unless they're forced to.
Right. So we're probably where the auto industry was years ago, and who knows where we'll end up. We have a lot of lemon laws in place now for cars and trucks that are helpful. And hopefully things will move forward toward that's where we are in the future with RVs, but there's no way to know for sure. There's a lot of money in that business. So
yes, there is. And a lot of people have become very, very wealthy. I wonder I know that you don't do the consumer protection stuff, and I don't think consumer fraud, but I'm hearing a lot of stuff, financial things that some of these dealers are doing that's very questionable, and the AGs of different states are starting to pay more and more attention to the RV industry. I wonder if that will, trickle down or trickle up to the manufacturing level. What do you think?
So actually this firm, when it was founded, Mr. Burge started off doing a lot of like dealer fraud type stuff for cars and trucks.
Yeah.
So we still do have that work that we do. We don't do quite as much in the RV realm. We kind of stick mostly to manufacturing stuff in the RV realm, but we have moved towards including some dealers in cases. I think probably bringing dealers in more often is what needs to happen. It's just tough when you have to file the complaint against the manufacturer most of the time in Indiana. And what if you have a dealer that's, across the country? Even though there's case law now that allows us to bring them in, it doesn't mean they're not going to file a motion to dismiss and delay the case a year. So it's kind of like, well, do you want to bring them in and delay the case for this plaintiff, or do you want to try to get them maybe the same thing at a quicker time frame, just going after the manufacturer? So
just from my perspective, I see more questionable practices from the consumer protection side than I do from the quality side. The quality side's bad. But a good manufacturer and a good dealer will fix those problems. They
Right.
will. But so you got to find a good dealer. You've got to find a good dealer. But the dealer can be a complete con man and has nothing to do with the manufacturer. If they're fudging the numbers and pumping up loan amounts and moving things around and wiggling stuff in the agreement, that has nothing to do with the manufacturer. So that's not something that you would be involved in, is it? Or if it's just with a dealer, or is that something you guys don't mess with?
We just don't, we don't do it routinely, but it's not something that we wouldn't be willing to do for the right case. It would just, if it was just the dealer, we would have to be either admitted in the state or the federal court if there was enough in controversy to file in federal court. So that would maybe, the amount in controversy and the location might prevent us in many cases from taking that case.
So that's why you're pretty much focused with manufacturers on a national basis. That makes sense. But do you think that the AGs having interest in the consumer protection side can eventually be a benefit, that they push the AGs, say these manufacturers, I don't know what you guys are doing, but we're getting a whole lot of complaints down here, and force them to do a better job?
I mean, I'd like to think so, but
Yeah, probably not. That's what you're saying.
right. Yeah, unfortunately. I mean, they can try to help administratively in their process that they have, but on a large scale level, just since it's state by state, it would be hard to have that have like a nationwide effect.
If I was a manufacturer and I've got a dealer that I end up hearing all kinds of bad things from their customers about, and I've checked my manufacturer, my team at the plant, and it ain't us. It's, we're not perfect, but we're sending these RVs and they're just not doing the proper PDI. If I was a manufacturer, I'd figure out some way to say, you're either going to fix it or we're pulling your, the franchise. You're not going to have it. But
Yeah.
I don't see that happening. Maybe I know somebody's got to care.
Yeah, but then the question is like, maybe they're losing money because they have all these warranty repairs after this RV dealer sells the vehicle. But how much money are they making on the sales, right? So maybe it's worth the trouble. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, as you said in the beginning, it's not easy. This whole thing that we're trying to describe, to understand with clarity, it's just not a clear subject. All the more reason to pick your dealer wisely, pick the brand of product you buy, get an inspection. When in doubt, slow down and be willing to walk away. If you're still watching, it tells me that you care about doing this the right way, and I respect that. Now, Beth and I covered a lot, but if there's one thing that I hope that you take away here, it's this. RVing can be a dream come true. It can. If you slow down, if you read the fine print, and if you choose your dealer like your vacation depends on it. Because it does. I don't want to scare you. I don't. But I do want to prepare you. You are not alone out here. And you don't have to figure it all out the hard way. Drop me a comment down below, especially if you've got questions about buying or warranties or inspections, or I don't know, how to push back when something doesn't feel right. I read every single one. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and check out the description below for a direct link to the RV Wingman's resource page. It's free, and it's there for you, and it just might help you avoid becoming somebody else's lesson. Y'all be safe, have fun, play nice, and don't leave your good manners at home.